Today, on Be Something Wonderful, the answer to feeling your wish already fulfilled. I am your host, Tom Kieran. This is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, welcome back. Big video today, and this is based on a question from one of my clients that also saw a posting on our Facebook group, the Be Something Wonderful Ambassadors, where one of you posted a quote by Neville Goddard that said something like that: when I say feeling, I don't mean emotion, but the acceptance of the wish already being fulfilled. This is from Neville Goddard, right? This is the whole question of what is the feeling of wish fulfilled? Is it an emotion? What is it? And Neville always points back to conviction, but he also talks about emotion and feeling and touch, and he talks about all of that, because I think one of you said, then one of you, after quoting Neville Goddard, put feeling doesn't equal emotion, and that's not quite right either. So I really want to unpack this, because remember, emotion, feeling results from emotion. It's thought plus emotion, right? Either it's the emotion of love or fear, but there's really only love. It's only source energy. There's only one energy. So thought plus that emotion plus that energy of love equals a feeling. So we're going to talk about this today and more. Here's how I want to start. What Neville's really getting at is, we've talked about the pendulum swinging between your desired reality and your undesired reality, swinging between the feeling of wish fulfilled and the feeling of not fulfillment, right? By swinging with the changing 3D emotions. Right here, when you're trying to reach fulfillment, or that feeling, that Neville is feeling fulfillment, you're trying to reach and stay here as a state of wish fulfilled. That causes attachment. On the other hand, you're trying to avoid or move from a perceived state of unfulfillment. That causes negative attachment, positive attachment, negative attachment. Either way, you're attached to your desire, or the doubt, or the worry, or the fear that you're not going to get it. And then you're swinging between these changing emotions. Now, that swing, that movement is emotion. It's energy in motion. It's always moving between, quote, the positive polarity and the negative polarity. But the way we interpret a positive and negative is wanted and unwanted. And God, the universe, all that is, doesn't consider that. It just considers it moving from a positive polarity to a negative polarity. Do you see this? So what's the key then? What's the key? The key to the wish fulfilled is the movement between these opposites. That movement is key to fulfillment. But hear this. In other words, the energy or emotion within you is moving between these states at such a high rate that it feels like there's no motion at all. You just see and perceive fulfillment. That's the key. Do you see? If there's always going to be movement between polarities, that's how we create. From that resistance, from that polarity, you create whatever you want in your life. Otherwise, there'd be no creation. The key is, a state of wish fulfilled means this movement is happening at such a rate, it almost appears like it's not moving. You're moving at such a high rate of vibration, so you've transcended the 3D emotions, and you're in the conviction of wish fulfilled. Do you see? You're here, and you're letting this swing, but it almost looks like it's not moving because you're in a state of wish fulfilled. Do you see what we're talking about here? But when you get attached to your desire, when you're trying to reach for fulfillment, when you're trying to stay there, now you're slowing the sway, and you're getting stuck between these extremes, right? Either you're trying to stay at wish fulfilled, or you're giving up and trying to avoid it. And what you want to do is, here is the sweet spot, where it's still moving back and forth, but it almost looks like it's in place, because you're in a state of fulfillment. You have transcended it. There's no movement, so no movement or slow movement is unfulfillment, right? Where there's no movement, there's no creation, right? Where there's slow movement, you're resisting it, right? Where there's movement, and if it's too slow, it also looks like it's when it slows down to such a pace that it's not moving at all, now you're not creating. It's the idea of transcending it. So I really want to show you this today, what Neville is really talking about. We'll get back to this drawing. So let's unpack this. So it's not about controlling your thoughts. You have thousands of them, right? So we're going to talk about this I am awareness, this inner touch, this feeling or this faith or conviction, right? It's not about controlling your feelings because you're only ever feeling your thoughts. So it's not about controlling either one of those. It's not trying to think positive thoughts. That puts you on that, trying to hang on to that positive side of duality, right? Trying to make the pendulum not swing, and then you go to the other extreme, to the undesired, right? Remember, movement, emotion, which is energy and motion, is part of creation. That's the love. But it's when we put it through a filter of a negative assumption, or what, quote, a limiting assumption, something that limits us, a thought or assumption that we would label negative, that's when you get a sensation of what you feel is negative emotion. But it's source energy, it's excitement, right? Or you're struggling to feel positive, non-acceptance. All of that is just non-acceptance. Right? Instead, what do you want to do? You want to observe, you want to allow, you want to feel, and you want to let go. Right? It's about positive being, not positive thinking or trying to feel positive. It's about being positive. Positive being, what does that really mean? It means awareness. Right? It means awareness as I am, awareness as source. It means you have an awareness to let that sway, to let that pendulum swing. Where was that? Right? There's that awareness that you're here. You're that I am. You're in that conviction. And that pendulum then is now moving so fast that it looks like it's not moving. You're not getting stuck anywhere, right? Accept awareness as your way of life, and you find a freedom you have never known before. Neville Goddard talking about awareness here. That's positive beingness. The more aware you are, the more conscious you are of your thoughts and feelings. It's not about trying to think positive or trying to feel positive. It's being conscious of what you're thinking and what you're feeling. Wow. Being conscious and aware of it, and then choosing again. Do you see it? It's a way bigger difference here. Now you're not getting stuck swinging to extremes in that pendulum. Now you're bringing it to awareness. You're leveling up, right? Accept awareness as your way of life, and you will find a freedom you have never known before. That's who you are, your awareness, your consciousness. But when you go unconscious, that's when you're starting to hang on that pendulum and swing into extremes. That's big. So you are the cause of the phenomena of your life. There is only one cause, and that is awareness. Neville again. Do you see it? Awareness again. That awareness, that power to be aware, right? Your awareness is I am consciousness, right? Emotions are the consciousness or energy in motion, moving upon itself to create life or create love. So it's not that emotions don't equal feelings. That's not the message here, right? It's so much bigger than that. Right? It's not like emotions are bad. Emotions are energy. And that motion, that energy is moving upon itself. And that energy can only be love because it only wants to create life. And it works from love. It's when we put it through a filter of a limiting belief, or what we would call a negative thought, right? Which is a limiting belief or a limiting assumption. It's only when that one energy or emotion is put through a limiting contracting belief or a fear-based belief that it feels like a negative emotion or that it feels like fear. There's only one energy, and that's love. That's love at the highest level, right? The love of life, the love of creation. It's when we create the fear that emotion feels like a fear-based energy. But it's only love, and you're putting it through those filters. So to bring conscious awareness to fear-based thoughts and negative emotions is a positive experience. Do you see this? This is the backwards law. One of you pointed that out. I've talked about this in a few videos. But it's even bigger than that. But I wanted to start with that. To bring conscious awareness to fear-based thoughts and negative emotions. Remember, that energy emotion is pure positive energy. It's source. But you're putting it through a filter of fear-based assumptions or thoughts. right? But even bigger than that, awareness. It's awareness. It's shining the light of your source on it, right? You're bringing it to awareness. You're shining your light, that I am, that awareness, that love, source energy. All of that is emotion because it's energy and motion. Love is energy and motion. That awareness of which you are, that's all you. That creates the feeling of fulfillment. That's acceptance and recognition of your grace and all that isness. Wow. Do you follow me here, guys? That emotion, that's the true feeling of fulfillment, right? That's what we're talking about. We're going to get a little clearer on this. And this is what Neville says. What you feel deeply is far more important than what you were thinking. A deep conviction felt is far more important than anything you could ever think. And when he says feel deeply, when you feel deeply about something, what do we call that? A conviction. Do you get this? It's a deep conviction because we believe what we feel, right? That's a deep conviction, that feeling. And then he says here, when I speak of feeling, this is the quote that one of you used on Facebook, I do not mean emotion, but the acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled. But what does he mean here? He means not the fleeting 3D emotions, right? Where you're hanging on that pendulum and going back and forth. Right here, these changing 3D emotions, swinging from your desired reality or trying to be in your state of wish fulfilled to non-fulfillment. He's saying that that you're transcending it here. It's acceptance of the fact that the desire is fulfilled. Here, you're accepting the fact, your conviction. You have transcended the pendulum. That's what he's talking about. He's not saying feeling doesn't equal emotion. That's not what he's saying. He even refers to feeling in touch here when he talks about Isaac and Jacob and Esau, right? Isaac asked Jacob to come close and kiss him. This is what Neville Goddard says. The word translated kiss means to set on fire, to burn, to touch. That's an emotion, an intense feeling. That's what Neville's saying here. Neville's pointing to emotion right here. So he's not making that distinction. As much as he said it in that other quote, it's right here. He's talking about the sense of touch. He says that's an emotion. That's an intense feeling. So what does he mean by that? Meaning that's source energy. That's that source, that intense source within you. Reality is felt through the sense of touch. Feeling is touch. So he's talking about touch. But what are you really touching there? You're touching that deep emotion, that source energy, that fulfillment that you really are. He's talking about a deep conviction who you are. It's getting behind that, right? Remember, thought plus emotion equals the feeling, right? Thought plus the energy of source. Whether you're putting it through depending if you're going to put it through a filter of a limiting belief, a limiting thought, or a positive or expanding thought equals the feeling. What does that really mean? It means assumption and wish fulfilled, plus love, plus the energy of source, hear this, equals the feeling of fulfillment, the conviction you're whole, complete, and fulfilled. That's what he means. The assumption and wish fulfilled, plus the love of source equals fulfillment, right? It's done. I am that I am. It's not that it's not necessarily that feeling isn't emotion. When some of you said that, that wasn't what Neville was saying. Emotion is source energy, emotion, consciousness, everything, including feeling. He was pointing out that it's not a temporary 3D emotion. It's much greater than that. It's a state of being. That's what he was getting at, right? Thought plus emotion equals that feeling, which equals a state of being, right? It's a state of being. It's a state of fulfillment, right? And then you're going to have 3D emotions in any given state that you occupy or assume. You're going to have the movement of that pendulum within that state. Do you see that? So we're talking about a state of fulfillment, a state of being, right? He was pointing that about not temporary 3D emotions. It's much greater than that. It's a state of being. So faith is feeling according to your faith or feeling, be it unto you. Neville got it. You never attract that which you want, but always that which you are. In other words, your state of being. Again, he's getting back that state of being. What is that state of being? It's thought plus emotion equals your state of being. Thought, the assumption of wish fulfilled, plus that love, that one emotion, that love of source energy equals the feeling of wish fulfilled, equals fulfillment. That's what he's getting at. And then even Jesus covers it here when a woman who was sick, who had a blood ailment, right? She couldn't give birth, touched his robe when he was in a crowd, touched him, right? And Jesus said, "Who is the one who touched me?" And then all his disciples are saying, "No, we don't know. There's a big crowd here." And then again, he goes, "What?" But Jesus insists here. He goes, but someone did touch me, for I was aware that the power had gone out of me." Wow. Again, Neville talked about the power of touch. This is what he meant, right? This ties it all together. Touch, feeling, that I am awareness, the emotion is the power having gone out of me. That power means the emotion, right? That sense of touch is that deep touching of fulfillment within, right? Bringing your awareness of your I amness. Feeling that, touching that I am awareness, right? Feeling the emotion of that love. And that's what we're talking about here. And then she was healed. But this puts it all together. That's faith, conviction, and the feeling. That's the beingness. This pulls all that together, pulls the idea of emotion, feeling, touch, fulfillment, your I am awareness all together. So you are I am awareness that touches that fulfillment within, that emotion, that source energy of which you are. And that's the state of wish fulfilled. That's the secret to feeling your wish already fulfilled. Guys, and I just want to say here, that is the key. Transcending it with that awareness that I am convict, that's the conviction, right? You've transcended those changing 3D emotions. The pendulum moves. Of course it moves. But it's moving at such a high rate now because you're in conviction, you're in fulfillment, right? It's always seeking balance, but remember, never finds it. Otherwise, creation would stop. That's power, right? You're now in the sweet spot, not attached, right? Where it almost looks like it's standing still. That's power. That's what we're talking about. That really is the answer to feeling the wish already fulfilled. I am your host, Tom Karen. This is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, members, thank you. Thank you for being a subscriber. Thank you for liking this video. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for turning on your notification bell. Thank you for just being here. Thank you for supporting Be Something Wonderful. Don't forget, we have a Facebook group at facebook.com/group/Be Something Wonderful. You can find us there. You can also find us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Karen. We also have a Facebook organization page at Be Something Wonderful, or just go to our website anytime for all that information and more at tomkaren.com or BeSomethingWonderful.com. Creators, we're great love, we're great light, and infinite gratitude. This is Tom. See you soon.